All right, everybody, we are back. It's been about 3 years since I've done a podcast. However, we are back. Today, I am excited to have on with me probably one of the biggest heels on the independent circuit right now. We are talking about the CEO of Snowman Enterprises, Mr. Tony Snow. Now, this episode, we're probably going to get to know a little bit more about him as well as what he's about, how he got into the business, and what his goals are being in the wrestling business as a manager. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get Mr. Tony Snow on here and let's get going.
What up? It's your boy James Ellsworth, the man who beat AJ Styles not once, not twice, but three times, the real winner of the first ever Women's Money Bank ladder match. And I'm here to tell you to check out my boy's podcast. It's called Outside the Squared Circle. Check it out, listen to it, and love it. And remember, any man with two hands has a fighting chance.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, today I've got on with me the CEO of Snowman Enterprises, Mr. Tony Snow. How are you doing today, man?
You think you're funny. Let's just cut through the niceties. You and I only know that I'm here right now because you paid me and the check cleared, okay? So what do you want to talk about, Madison? I mean, Mason. What do you want to talk about, Mason? Let's get into it. You got 20 minutes, kid.
All right. I mean, hey, $5 is $5. You know what I mean? First of all, one question I want to ask is how did you get into the wrestling business like this? Is this something that you've wanted to do for a long time, or was it just kind of a spur of the moment deal?
$5, clever, like the cost of Johnny Lightning's latest wrestling gear. Anyway, I've been man, I've always wanted to be in wrestling. I think everyone that works in it has always been a fan. I don't think anyone who's not familiar ever wakes up and says, "Hey, I want to go throw myself around this ring for money." Um, but no, since I've been a kid, I was a WCW guy. That's why when I decided I wanted to do this thing for real, who did I seek out to train me? The legendary Teddy Long, and not the, funny little general manager Teddy Long that danced around on SmackDown. I deal with the ruthless manager Teddy Long who managed Butch Reed and Ron Simmons doomed to the NWA heavyweight titles. You know what I'm saying?
I gotcha. So a lot of things have been going on for the past number of months. What is the whole beef between Snowman Enterprises and Toxic Masculinity, being Johnny
Uh,
Lightning and Johnny Dynamite?
well, I mean, if you paid attention to the product, Mason, you would have seen back when I made my debut back in January, I was literally there. I had two goals that night. And first of all, I've still got heat with, the board at WFC or, Tim Rockwell or whoever the heck decided to schedule my debut in the sweat hog hillbilly capital of Oklahoma called Wagoner. This was in, oh my gosh, if Oklahoma had an armpit, Wagoner was it. And so I come out and I'm introducing myself to the company, and of course everyone's got something slick and smart to say. So I had to insult a few toothless fans, Granny Sweathog being one of them. And so that was, one thing done. I got through that. My second thing was scout talent and make offers to people that I thought were worthy of carrying the Snowman Enterprises banner. I've been working in the field of music for 25 years and I've conquered everything I've wanted to do. I've engineered platinum records. I've toured with everybody in the Texas music scene. I've always been a wrestling fan. So I was like, you know what? Let's transition. I'm going to take some of this clout, some of this resources, some of this experience in the world of entertainment and move over to the world of pro wrestling. So on that very first night, I approached two people with my business card. I approached Dutch Hagen, who was busy talking to some loser named Richie Adams. I had to step in between the two. They were talking about some stupid Game of Thrones bullshit. I don't know what all that was about. But anyway, I was never interested in Richie because he was a loser. He lost. He was the one that took the pin where they lost the titles. two of your stupid Johnnies. He's the one that cost Richard his career. I mean, the guy's just a loser. I had no interest in him at all whatsoever. So I go and I recruit Dutch. Everything turns out great. He calls me. I go take him out for real fruit smoothies, which, by the way, I fucking love real fruit smoothies. So as we're sitting down talking about real fruit smoothies, I mentioned tag teams and how I want to get all the gold, and he mentions toxic masculinity. So I go and offer the same offer to the Johnnies. And to my surprise, the lit mute, as I call him, he called himself the lit fuse, but I hardly ever hear the guy talk. The lit mute, Johnny Dynamite, he spoke a couple words, but Lightning did most of the speaking for the group as usual. And they turned me down. And someone like me, someone of my stature, someone who's done what I've done and been where I've been and had the ridiculous amount of money that I've had. I'm like right now it's 3:30 in the morning. I'm in San Tropez with my faction from another company, Los Rayos del Infierno. We're training for a big purge show coming up. Like I got stuff going on, guys, and so I don't got time to mess around with anyone from but the best. So I offered my services to the Johnnies, Johnny Lightning and Johnny Dynamite. And these two arrogant punk assholes said no. Um, and so from that moment on, it started out with, hey, I'm just gonna get these titles because that's all I care about, man. I'll let you in on a little something. I don't give a French fried flying fuck for these wrestlers that work for me. They're all just tools to get the titles that I want. I'm in pro wrestling to prove to everybody that I can achieve what everybody told me I couldn't because of the setbacks I had earlier on in life. And so they told me no. So first I tried to get the titles and they cheated. You might have not been there. The first match we had with them, Johnny Lightning got himself intentionally disqualified, so we actually won the first match. The second match, he had his buddy, little coffee bean boy, Cappuccino Jones, come out and save himself as we were about to Pillmanize him right there in front of all of his fans. So, I mean, the guy's taking the low road each time, and he hasn't beaten us fairly. So, this coming Sunday, you have my word, Mason, that every single person that comes into WrestleLand Arena, they're gonna see a fair, straightforward fight for my WFC Tag Team Championships. They'll be coming home with me to whichever one of my residences I decide to return to.
I gotcha.
Any
And you,
question? Any questions?
I recently have seen you try to offer a position in Snowman Enterprises to the veteran Jack Vaughn,
Oh
and whenever
yeah,
he declined that,
I mean,
you weren't too happy about that, were you?
dude, what a ignorant jerk this guy was. I even wore a full red suit just to match his stuff, dude. I tried to do the whole Jimmy Hart Hulk Hogan thing, come out matching the talent and everything. And just like Johnny Lightning, the veteran, Mr. Slap My Thigh, Jack Vaughn, got lucky that that bitch Mother Nature sent us 120-mile-an-hour winds because he conveniently couldn't reschedule the following week. Just like that coward Johnny Lightning conveniently couldn't reschedule. I live 3 hours away from Tulsa, Oklahoma. I sit in the car 6 hours round trip to come out and do my job and entertain these people. And Johnny Lightning couldn't take a stroll down the street to give me my titles in front of his hometown. I mean, I don't get it.
Well, I mean, you did take out his knee, but it took you 4 attempts to take out a sign. So, I mean, I'm gonna move on from that.
It's not my fault you brought a corrugated cardboard sign. You did that on purpose, you sneaky little sweat hog. I know what you're on to, okay? Every single one of these other idiots have brought normal signs, and you brought it was like one of those for your three listeners, because my mom's listening, and I'm sure your mom's probably listening. And then, one or two of my fans. This thing was like a election sign you get in the front yard, okay? This thing was wind resistant. It had to have been at least 300-pound test, because I'm a swole human being. But I did tear it. I did succeed.
after 4 attempts and failing to pick it up, but that's besides the point.
Hey, it's not my job to pick it up.
However, you did indeed, after Johnny Lightning had beat White Trash Gary to advance in the Ryder Cup, you did come out and attack him from behind.
Man,
With
one thing that you and the rest of these sweat hogs are gonna learn is Tony Snow always keeps his word. And when I told Johnny Lightning I was gonna end his career, I meant it. And a couple of things, all of you toxic ass wrestling fans, you come up with your own narratives and your own side of the story. We didn't attack Johnny Lightning from behind. Diamond Duke hit him head on the minute he hit the curtain. He had a moment's notice. It's not my fault that he didn't take me seriously when I said the next time we were in the building with him, I'm ending his career. So, no, we didn't attack him from behind. We attacked him head on. Where was the lit mute? Where was, Johnny Dynamite while I was sitting there beating his buddy within an inch of his life? And let me tell you something, bro. I'm gonna get my Vince Russo on here for a second, bro. Let me tell you, when I was beating Johnny Lightning down, I enjoyed every last second of it. For the rest of my life, if I'm having just a horrible day, I'm gonna go back and look at those pictures because this guy has made my life a living hell. We saw what he did when he got to Mallow. We saw how he's cheated me out of these titles that he knows that I'm obsessed with. I mean, so yeah, dude, it's gonna be this coming Sunday, WrestleLand 3. Let me just say I've got a plan. Tony Snow always has a plan. We have our rematch, and as I said, once we get out to the ring, I'm not gonna interfere. Everything's gonna be fair and square, Scouts honor, and hopefully we'll finally see who the better tag team is.
and what happens if toxic masculinity wins for any reason?
That's not even on the table. That's not even an option. I mean, I'd go as so far as to put the same wager up I put with Thrash. If toxic masculinity, if my guys do not defeat toxic masculinity this Sunday, I will rip up my WFC contract right in the middle of the ring. Because let me tell you something, sweat hogs. Whether you guys like me or not, WFC management loves me because you guys love to hate me. And I love that. And they love that because you guys come out just to say your stupid, nonsensical, four mouthful tease babble at me. And your money's worth just as much as anybody else's. So I'm not going anywhere for a long time. I just signed a contract extension. I'm not going to tell you how long it's till, but let me just say when I'm done with this place, Wrestling for a Cause is going to be my company. We're going to have all the gold. I'm going to get all the power somehow. I don't care if I got to make some sort of deal with Tim Rockwell. But by the time I'm done with this place, the cause and Wrestling for a Cause is going to be my vacation home in Aspen, Colorado. That's what all the money's going to go to.
I gotcha. Is there any other WFC talent that hasn't joined Snowman Enterprises that you think about scouting out eventually?
Oh, I'm constantly scouting out talent. I made a offer to little coffee bean boy and he turned me down and we saw what happened to him. Um, Alex Royals had my eye for a long time. The guy's been around forever. He's had every title everywhere. And honestly, that's about it. Well, Shotgun Dan Weber. I could see Shotgun Dan Weber as an enforcer, somebody who could stand there and watch my back for when these stupid, ignorant hillbillies decide to throw full bottles of water at my head. So yeah, there's a couple people I've got my eyes on, but there's also a couple people at WFC that it shouldn't even be allowed near a wrestling ring. There's a couple of these clowns and idiots at Wrestling for a Cause that shouldn't even be able to look at a wrestling ring. They shouldn't be allowed within 5 feet of the building.
Who might that be if you want to go in depth?
Dude, come on. If you show up to a show or two and you'll catch on yourself, you're not that slow.
So you had just mentioned Thrash not too long ago. So I
Yeah, what
noticed
about
that
Fathead? What about Fathead?
at the Freedom Rings Rumble, you did obtain some gold that night.
Yeah, of course we did, just like I said we would.
Dustin Tibbs defeating Thrash for the WFC Prime Championship.
Yeah, we sure did.
Do you have any thought that Thrash might be coming back for a rematch for that title?
I'm not gonna agree to one. That's not on the table. That's not an option. He lost his shot, and there's no automatic rematch clause that I'm aware of in WFC. If there is, it's brand new to me. So and if he is granted a rematch, you best believe that I am going to the booking committee and I am raising holy hell. You know why? Because he doesn't deserve a rematch, because he is a loser. The only reason that he won that title to begin with was because of those bumbling idiots, the Cowboy Cartel and that clown Wrangler Rhett. And you saw how easy it was, dude. The youngest guy in my faction, my young boy. If we're the four horsemen, then freaking Lex Luger just won a title from this dude. Like, come on, man. Thrash is a joke. No, I'm done with them. It's on to the next. And you know what? I will tell you, I'm a petty motherfucker. When I come out to these shows, I was taught by my trainer, WWE Hall of Famer Teddy Long, whenever they see you, make sure you look like a rock star. If you want to be important, you need to look important. I spent 25 years as a professional DJ. I There's a lot of hits that you hear on the radio that I engineered or mixed and mastered. Well, I sold my masters to those recordings. I saved a whole ton of money and turned around and invested it in wrestling and a few things south of the border. So I have $5,000 to $8,000 custom Tom Ford suits. Now I know a bunch of you sweat hogs that are listening probably have no idea who Tom Ford is, but he was a designer who saved Gucci from going bankrupt in the 90s. He runs out of Texas, and the guy's stuff is incredible. Jay-Z put me onto him. Yeah, that Jay-Z. I was having lunch with him one day, and he recommended the suits to me. So anyway, when I had this match with Thrash, I'm sure you saw it, this fathead had the nerve and the audacity to put his hands on me. He grabbed my suit. You messed up this jacket, which cost more than his car. So not only did I ensure that we took his title, but I also ensured that he didn't have a chance at facing Dutch Hagen for the heavyweight title by eliminating him from the Rumble. And that shows you, that shows Granny Sweathog, that shows Fathead Thrash, and everybody else on that stupid roster that it's hands off Tony Snow. You touch me, there's going to be consequences. Period.
Sounds good to me, I guess. Um, we'll see how
What do you
that
mean you
goes.
guess? Any questions? How more can I be more clear? You touch me, something's gonna happen to you. Thrash touched me, I took his title, and I took his chances at the Rumble. Next question.
Next question is you mentioned Dutch Hagen, the WFC Heavyweight Championship. He has a match this Sunday against the Copperhead Duke Cornell.
A non-title match.
Have you given any thought that Duke could possibly overcome Dutch?
If he does, it really doesn't matter because it's a non-title match. And as I said, I worry about titles, not wrestlers. Honestly, Dutch is my dude. He's my homie. He's my bridge partner. We play Magic the Gathering together. I don't want him to lose. So I will probably do what I can to ensure that he wins. But when it comes down to it, a manager's job is to secure and defend championships. This match is not for a championship. And do you know why this match is not for a championship? You want
How's
to
that?
take a guess, Madison? I mean, Mason?
What would that be?
Just take a wild guess why this is a non title match.
Because it could be fear that Duke could win.
It's because you stupid sweat hogs don't deserve a title match. That's why. None of you. Like, if I had my way, Dutch Hagen would wrestle one time a year, Extravaganza. And you know what? There is a title match there against this Mr. Kennedy Anderson, whatever the heck he's called that day. That guy. That's your title match. That's the one that matters. I don't care about Duke Cornell. We had a business dealing in the past. The dude lost because he's weak. So whatever. He's probably not even gonna show up. A little from what I've heard, the guy's a little timid. So I doubt he'll even show up. So it's probably gonna be the third month in a row where the heavyweight champion hasn't had to defend his title. But like I said, if I had my way, you guys would see Dutch Hagen once a year. I'm the hand of the king. It's my job to hold things down when he's not there. And if you ask me, I've done a pretty damn good job.
I gotcha. Now you did mention Extravas Slams at 2. He is going against Mr. Anderson. That being the biggest WFC event of the year, what are your thoughts going into this match with Dutch Hagen?
Well, I'm just excited for the match. I'm excited for a couple of things. My mentor and trainer, WWE Hall of Famer Teddy Long, is hosting the event, and I get to show him how the student has become the master. Because at that point, once we win these tag titles on Sunday, every single member of Snowman Enterprises will have championship gold. Will be draped in gold. Once the dust settles, or if you will, Mason, once the snow falls Sunday night, everyone, everyone will have gold. Teddy never did that. Teddy managed some tag team champions. Teddy managed a women's champion. Teddy never had a modern day four horseman. Teddy never lived up to that. Teddy was never J.J. Dillon. I'm the second coming of Bobby Heenan. Look at me, guys. I'm 6 months in this, and everyone in my faction is about to have gold. So that's why I'm excited for Extravasalamza, because I get to show Teddy Long, this Hall of Famer that taught me everything he knows, that I already 6 months into my management career, 8 months by that point, have become everything that he never was. That's why I'm looking forward to Extravasalamza.
Uh, so you had mentioned here a little bit ago, you grew up with WCW and getting into management. Was there anybody that you looked at like as an inspiration for that from
Well, of
WCW?
course, as I said earlier, Teddy, and then from then, a big time inspiration for me was Paul E. Dangerously, the Dangerous Alliance with the Zach Morris size cell phone. He was pretty awesome. Harley Race was great. His management skills weren't that awesome, but he knew what to do and when to do it. That was more of his thing where they had a legendary guy that they wanted to put with somebody to elevate him, and he did a good job because he could talk. And of course, Jimmy Hart. With Bobby Heenan, we only saw him as a commentator in WCW. Um, his heyday as a commentator was WWF, but JJ Dillon in WCW was the GOAT as far as I'm concerned, and that's what I modeled Snowman Enterprises after. And once we win these tag titles, that's exactly what you're gonna see. You're gonna see a dominant world champion like Ric Flair was in Dutch Hagen. You're gonna see a dominant tag team, old school tag team like Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson were in The Shining, Handsome Jack and Diamond Duke, 25 years each experience. And then you're gonna see your young boy with gold on his shoulder ready to take on the entire world, and that's dashing, delicious, daring Dustin Tibbs. That guy's the youngest prime champion in the history of the company. Nobody's mentioned that, and I don't know why, and it's pissing me off. Like nobody within their first year in the company, his age, has won the prime championship. Like we're making fucking history here, people.
So have you ever seen yourself being a face manager?
No, never. There's no way. I don't like people. I hate people, dude. I dislike being around people. My entire year as a DJ, people thought it was weird because I love being on stage performing in front of 20, 30,000 people at Texas Rap Fest. Soon as the show was over, everyone's wanting to hit after parties and shit. I'm going to my hotel room to play video games. Like I don't leave my home. I don't fuck with nobody. I've got my cats and my dog and my girl and my best friend, and that's about it. If I could have a fucking security barricade around my home, there would be. Like, I could never be a face because I could never sell the fact that I like people. I could never genuinely smile and cheer on somebody and, yeah, let's go. Come on. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. I can't. My entire life, I've been way too good at getting under people's skin. My entire life, I've been obsessed with getting what I want by whatever means necessary. I get so sick, and I've started telling people this in crowds, and people get so pissed off at me. This guy was waiting for me in the parking lot a couple weeks ago because I said this shit. But think about it, man. Think about what I'm about to tell you. This guy kept calling me a cheater. And this was with a company I've been with for years. And I have these people on Facebook. They added me. It's not my fault you let me into your personal life. This guy spent the last year cheating on his wife, and they've had a very public relationship issues on Facebook. And he kept calling me a cheater because I was choking out the good guy. So I very politely walked over and told him that if he wants to talk about cheating, then he should show his wife his text messages. Give your wife your cell phone and let's talk about cheating. Like, you don't want to fucking mess with me, guys. Like, seriously. I'm telling you, like, I could never be a good guy. Everything about me, it's just I'm good at getting under people's skin and I take shortcuts. Yes. Tell me who doesn't take shortcuts. Look at every successful company in the world and they take shortcuts. AT&T takes shortcuts. Walmart takes shortcuts. Uh Fortune 500 company, they take shortcuts. The only difference is when I take shortcuts, it happens in front of all of you. Like, that's what you people don't seem to understand. Like, your cable company takes shortcuts. The president that you voted into office at one point has taken shortcuts, but you blindly cheer for him and vote for him because you've been programmed to because he's a Republican or a Democrat. The only difference between me and the rest of these people is I take shortcuts in front of the world, and I do it to secure titles.
Just get the tag team titles. This will be what, your third attempt?
Yes, this will be the third attempt because the first two times they were cheated out of our hands.
However, you did say you'd get him by any means necessary. So where does that lie?
I did. I did, but I also just told you. I told you early on in the show that once we get out to that ring, I will abide by all the rules. You're not going to see me get involved, and my guys are going to win these titles fair and square.
Now, after what
Oh, you got to
happened
worry about.
at the Ryder Cup, your guys attacking Johnny Lightning, do you think that knee would be targeted?
Oh, well, yeah, that knee was targeted because we knew his history because I do my homework. Before I started with WFC, I spent months pouring back onto footage. I watched the last 3 years of WFC programming, and I know the Lightning has had issues with that knee. And so both of my guys, Jack and Duke, they had um they had direct directive for me to take out the knee. If you notice on the footage, there's one point where Jack is digging the kendo stick into the back of the kneecap, trying to rupture the patella tendon. Sorry. And then at one point too, there's one of my favorite pictures. I want to get it blown up and hang it on my wall because it was just it felt so good. It was better than sex. When Duke's holding Lightning's leg out and I'm just laying into that knee with the kendo stick. And I was a little upset though the next day because that kendo stick had like 3 or 4 cracks on it. So Johnny Lightning owes me a new kendo stick because his leg broke mine. So I'm gonna make sure I get that.
I gotcha. Just like that sign cost me about 50 cents. I need that back, but I'm not worried about
Oh,
that
that's
right
fine.
now,
No, kendo sticks are like $50, and his leg broke mine, so I need that replacement Lightning if you're listening.
which I'm sure he will be. He was my very
Oh,
first guest on this podcast.
Oh, nice. Well, the guy, I kind of feel bad for him, man, because when you have to resort to just straight up cowardice and lying to the world because you're afraid to wrestle my guys. Like when our show was canceled, when the Freedom Rings Rumble was canceled, and they said that we had to come back the following week. I made arrangements. I changed my schedule around. I rescheduled lunches and meetings and dinner plans. I don't just work for WFC. I work for two other companies and I'm maintaining four stories. Like I do a lot. And at the same time, I still work for myself as well. And I made the event. Like, and get this, guys. I didn't have a vehicle at the time because something was going down in my personal life. I paid somebody to take me to the event. I paid someone to come down and get me and then drive me up there. Like I lost money on this show. That's how committed I am, Lightning. I actually show up and do the work that I give my word that I'll do. You're a coward that took a freaking a little windstorm and a postponed show. And of course you can't make it. Of course you're gonna say something's coming up or that you're booked some better. Or I didn't see a flyer for that show for you. I saw one for the next night. And it doesn't take you a full day to go from Oklahoma to Missouri, homeboy. So you're a coward, bro. We've already established that. You had to cheat to win when you're a bad guy. When you're a good guy, you've had to cheat to retain those titles. So just do me a favor and shine those things up nice for me. Because they're gonna look great on my mantle.
So, one more question before I go ahead and sign off of here is what's after this event this Sunday with y'all obtaining the tag team titles, what's next for Snowman Enterprises?
And next after that is we will take on whatever challengers I deem fit for us to take on. Because at that point we will be on the top of the mountain. Dirty Dutch Hagen is a dominant WFC heavyweight champion. We have the Shining will be the tag champs, and Dashing Delicious Dirty Dustin Tibbs, he's the prime champ. So unless I add another member, we're just going to be taking on challengers that I see fit when I see fit. You're not going to see these guys wrestle every show if I have something to do with it. My guys are an attraction. They come out when I want them to come out. How can you miss them if they don't go away? So whenever the WFC management brings me a challenger that I see fit to wrestle my guys, then they'll have that challenge. So first up is Duke Cornell, and Dirty Dutch Hagen's gonna make light work of him if he even shows up.
And do y'all have any intentions on eventually going after Alex Royal, who won the Hometown Heroes Championship back at the Ryder Cup?
Um, well, at this moment, I've been in contact with Alex Royal, and let me say that there's some mutual respect there. So I'm not going to say that I'm trying to recruit Mr. Royal, but I'm saying that we might be unlikely allies sometime in the future. But things might change, so you never know. Right now, my main focus is getting a strap on everybody in my faction. So once that happens, if we decide someone else needs a Dutch needs to be maybe Dutch needs to be Dutchy two belts, we might go after it. Who knows? But as of right now, man, you've seen the graphic for Sunday. Mr. Royal's got his hands full. I'm the least of his worries. So good luck to the the showcase, Alex Royal.
All right. And before I sign off, is there anything that you would like to announce, like towards the fans, or anything you'd like to say to them?
Oh man, not really. Just you're welcome. I bring you the greatest wrestling in the world. The athletes in my stable are top notch. For the fans down at MPX, you suck. I brought you tortillas and you threw them back, you ungrateful swine. For the fans at Texoma, you suck just as bad. And for the WFC fans, I told y'all when I came in January Winter is coming, and Rome isn't built in a day. It's taken me some time, but the takeover is here, guys. So, toxic masculinity, the Johnnies, whatever you want to call yourself, the mute fuse, and my ex-girlfriend's least favorite wrestler. You got 3 more days with those titles, man. Enjoy them, take pictures, wear them around your house, which you probably already do, you freaking marks. And shine them up nice for me, man. And we'll see you guys Sunday in Tulsa.
All right. Well, Tony, I appreciate you coming on here and chat with me. Um, I guess I look forward to seeing what happens on Sunday.
Yeah, sure thing. And Slipknot still sucks. We'll talk to you later.
All right.